If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You're listening to Late Night Radio on the SHR Media Network. Caution, there will be mature themes explored and potentially adult language used. If conservatarian words, phrases, certain concepts, or rhetoric offends you, tune out now.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? You magnificent bastard, I read your book. I drink your milkshake.
How dare you?
I call that bold talk for a one-eyed fat man.
Fill your hand,
you son of a bitch!
Captain.
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 Captain. No, not yet. Don't pass out on me yet. Of course you realize this means war.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Blow the Eating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here from the SHR Media Studios, the sumptuous, resplendent, and palatial SHR Media Studios. It is Tuesday. It is August 11th, the year of our Lord 2020. And welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. What's that reference from? I know Jeff knows. Folks, I gotta tell you this. I'm broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California. Always spell it with a K. A mere 2 miles east of the locus of evil from the entire left coast. Yes. The Bill Mill, the belly of the beast, the Capitol building in downtown Sacramento at 10th and L Streets, where late at night you can hear the death of common sense and its concomitant wail as it wafts from that putrefying edifice. And at the end of the show, when I exit the plush, resplendent, sumptuous, and palatial SHR Media Studios, I'll be smelling the odoriferous stench of sulfur, brimstone, and evil emanating from downtown Sacramento. Be forewarned, for the next 2 hours, you're going to hear my opinion and no one else's. And also, because of the fear porn that has gripped this nation, the saloon is no longer open. But I am still pouring stiff drinks. Facts, history, logic, rationality, proportion, context, tradition, intent, and common sense out the back door. A reminder, we do not water our drinks, just like we don't water our conversation. Politics, religion, crime, culture, economics, race, sex, science, law. We talk about it all right here at the saloon, where the speech is free, but the booze is not. This is 2020. I am done with bipartisanship and compromise. This is the new age of modern political warfare, because make no mistake, we are at war. If our Constitution and our Bill of Rights don't prevail, we have absolutely lost this nation, and it won't be coming back. Because if we lose freedom here in the United States of America, where else are we going to be finding it around the planet? Tonight, in the first hour, it's going to be Jeff DUNETZ. And if I'm not mistaken, Jeff DUNETZ is here. Jeff DUNETZ is here with a beer. And he has no fear. Jeff, do you?
Fear not.
Fear
no
not.
Fear.
No fear. Have a beer with fear. Did you realize that...
We have 85 days to kick ass.
Yeah, it is. It's less than 90 now, right?
Right. 85, I think, is less than 90. I don't know. My son's the math.
Wait a minute. You're doing math.
No. I'm not doing math.
You were doing math?
I don't do math.
Okay, I got 2 words, okay? 2 words for everybody. 2 words. I know what you're thinking. It's not Jeff DUNETZ, because you were thinking that the 2 words were going to be Jeff DUNETZ. It's not Jeff DUNETZ. It's not even exactly Jeff DUNETZ. To make no mistake, Jeff DUNETZ is a great guy, but it's not Jeff DUNETZ. The 2 words today are, what do you think? Jeff DUNETZ, 1 each. Kamala Harris. That's right. Kamala Harris. I forgot my manners. Where are my manners? Welcome to Jeff DUNETZ in SHR Media chat, Real Mike Pasqua in chat, Sergeant Booker in chat, the Alaskan in chat. Bella, there's a new person in chat. Bella is in chat. Welcome. Haven't seen you, I don't think, before, but I want to let you know you are always welcome in chat.
BZ, I'm scared.
How scared are you? On a scale of 1 to scared, how scared are you?
Scared. I agree with Kamala Harris on something.
No.
Yeah, Biden's a racist.
Oh. Okay. All right. I got a story. Jeff, you want to hear a story? I got a story.
I'd love to hear a story.
Okay. Here we go. Well, number 1, as you might expect, folks, Jeff DUNETZ is going to be here for the first hour. In the second hour, I really have no damn idea what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of bulbous-ishness stuff in the second hour with a lot of suffixes. I like to throw as many suffixes on as possible. Bella in chat says...
That's because I live in Suffolk County.
That's right. Perfectly. Oh, speaking of New York, yeah, we are going to get into New York City. We will be getting into New York. But anyway, the story goes like this. I got to the studio. A friend of mine is in the studio. He's waiting for me. There he is, over there. And I get here, I open up the back door of the car, and I realize... my laptop's not here. Now, the studio is not in my backyard. The studio is an actual studio. Unnamed, of course, because I don't need leftists knowing where it is that the BZ's bunker resides. So I got to drive all the way back home. That's just about a 2 hour. That's just about a 20-minute to 30-minute ride, depending on traffic. So I get here about 20 till... and I've got 20 minutes to assemble everything. My good friend is still studiously waiting out front, even though it's 117 degrees out. Well, it's not all that bad today. It's a little bit better than it was yesterday. And then I get here and I realize I has no mouse, so I've got to go to this little stupid pad on my laptop to open everything up. So getting to my stories and my audio cuts are going to be a little difficult today. But you mentioned Kamala Harris, and I mentioned Kamala Harris. Coming here, by the way, one of the first stories that I'm going to go to is about this incredible, ridiculous event. Did you know that math is racist? I don't know if anybody knew that or not.
Yes.
But math is racist. And now it's funny that Kamala Harris...
And I will say also that in this campaign...
is now the
we've
VP.
also heard, and I'm going to now direct this at Vice
No.
President Biden.
She's the VP candidate.
I do not believe you are a racist.
Yeah.
And I agree with you when
this
you
is her and Joe
commit
Biden.
yourself to the importance of finding common ground. But I also believe, and it's personal, and I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country. And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing. And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools. And she was bused to school every day.
I'm getting all teared up.
And that little girl was me.
No.
So I will tell you that on this subject, it cannot be an intellectual debate among Democrats. We have to take it seriously. We have to act swiftly.
I know.
As Attorney General of California, I was very proud to put in place a requirement that all my special agents would wear body cameras and keep those cameras on.
Senator Harris, thank you. Vice President Biden.
Okay.
Now, there was a little boy in New York, okay, who had to take a bus to school every day. And do you know why he had to take a bus? Because his school was too far to walk.
Huh. Funny how that works out.
And you know what? It wasn't as bad as my father, because my father, he should rest in peace. You know, he had to walk 10 miles to school every day, uphill both ways.
Well,
in the snow with no shoes.
Like me. I had to walk to school in the snow not long after having been born in a log cabin that I helped my father build. Life was difficult back in the day. Life was much more difficult back in the day. Hey, in chat, I think I mentioned you. There's Jeff. I mentioned Mike. I mentioned Sergeant Booker. Leslie just stepped into the chat room. The Alaskan Jack Alexander just slipped into the chat room. Bella, brand new, is in the chat room. And one viewer who will not be unmasked because I don't unmask people here. They either unmask themselves or I don't mess with people that way. Now, let me look over at SHR Media. Because, if you don't know, and I'm sure you do, I'm still suspended on Facebook. I won't be unsuspended, I think, until next week sometime. On Facebook chat, welcome to Jimmy Collins. Leslie in Facebook chat. Hey, she's bi-chattable in two chats at once. Two chats at once. And Eric, so welcome to everybody in those chats. We're talking to Jeff DUNETZ tonight. Jeff is at lidblog.com. Lidblog.com. For those of you who just tuned in, that's lidblog.com. Now, it's 8:13 on the left coast. It's 11:13 on the east coast. And it's 1749 and 275.723 subparagraph Grote Cluster 4 in Bolivia, in Bolivian time. I've never quite understood Bolivian time. So welcome to everybody in all of those chat rooms.
45 in Baltimore.
Yes. Here's a partial score, Green Bay 7.
That's right.
So thanks for being here tonight, Jeff DUNETZ. If you want to read some of the best stuff ever, go to The Lid. It's at lidblog.com. Lidblog.com. Jeff
By the way, Joe Biden isn't the only racist. You know what I learned today?
What?
The American dream is racist.
Oh. Come on, Jeff.
I didn't know
as
that.
Somebody I really love. Come on, man.
Says an associate professor at San Francisco State.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and she says that the American dream really only refers to certain minorities,
right?
Like Asians.
It's right. It doesn't apply to everybody. The Constitution is just a suggestion. It didn't really mean half that shit. Come on, man.
So when my dad used to tell me if I work hard, keep my nose to the grindstone, I'll do okay, he was being racist. Either that or he thought I was African American. And look, I'm Jewish. We were slaves in Egypt. Where's Egypt?
Exactly. Northern Africa. Come on. Exactly. Oh,
Come
well,
on, man.
Yeah. Welcome to Barbara Danko. She's in Facebook chat as well. Good to see you there. Now, everybody in Facebook chat, just remember that I cannot respond to you there because of my lovely suspension. And so if you want to be into the chat room where I can see you in Facebook chat, I just can't do anything with it. But if you want to be in the chat room where there's a ton of people there already, go over to shrmedia.com. shrmedia.com, into the chat room right there. Jeff DUNETZ, one each. I heard this on the way over here tonight. This is, by the way,
Which time?
The second time after the left at Fruit Ridge.
Okay.
I took the left at Fruit Ridge, and I came down 65th. So as I was doing that, that's when I heard this story.
Okay.
Folks, if you haven't been here before and you want to discover all the ridiculous shite that's occurring in education, and I use that word very loosely, just as when you know, Leslie Holker in chat says, BZ, you know you're doing something right when Facebook suspends you. I guess I was doing something right then. Anyway, I was coming down here, and if you haven't been to campusreform.org, you want to find out all the newest abrogations in education. And when I hear the term, this is an air quote, educator, I'm an educator. I know that is a leftist with an agenda, period, end of statement. From campusreform.org, the headline is, Math Education Professor, 2 + 2 = 4 is a trope that reeks of white supremacy patriarchy.
Don't you think so?
Jeff, after I said something similar out loud at probably roughly 110 decibels in my little teeny car, which is an enclosed space with my air conditioner on, my windows up, after I said something similar to, are you fucking kidding me? The story is, math professors and academics at top universities, including Harvard and the University of Illinois, discussed the Eurocentric roots of American mathematics on Twitter. They asserted that the statement 2 + 2 = 4 is rooted in Western definitions of mathematics. So, Jeff, what are the Eastern definitions of math, or the African definitions of math? I'm here to be educated.
As soon as I heard this, and I thought about it, okay, I went into my son's room. Now, my son in January, graduated cum laude with a math degree. Okay.
With a who?
Math.
Oh, okay.
He takes after his mother, so he has brains. So,
okay.
And I said, I paid 4 years of college. You didn't tell me you were studying racism. I was upset with him.
Yeah.
So, I think it's just look. I got to be honest with you. First of all, it's Brooklyn College.
No. Okay, stop. I have to stop you right there. Don't be honest with me. Lie your ass off to me. Go.
Okay. Everything is racist.
And whites are evil. You forgot the most important part.
Whites are evil, and everything is racist. I mean, it's ridiculous already. Okay?
I know. We all need to be killed. I need to be killed. You need to be killed.
No, I need a pizza.
Do you like pepperonis?
Kill me.
I love pepperonis.
I can't do pepperonis.
Ah.
Milk and meat,
okay.
That kosher thing.
Screws with the stomach acids, and you get reflux and that kind of stuff. How about mushrooms?
Yeah, I got to tell you something. This is Brooklyn College.
Okay.
And God's honest truth, 40 years ago, before CCNY, City College in New York, went open enrollment, Brooklyn College was actually the Harvard of New York. It was to things like political science and those type of things. Brooklyn College was actually better than Harvard.
Okay.
until they started letting everyone in without needing like a GPA. And this shows you how much Brooklyn College has fallen. That they have a moron like this. It's numbers. Numbers don't have anything to do with race.
Do any of these morons, have they ever heard the term Arabic numerals? I wonder. Damn. Okay, my guest, who shall remain nameless, just looked at me, gave me stink eye when I said Arabic numerals. It's like, wait a minute. If I had a producer, God, I left my mouse, so now I got to do this stupid little movie board, this little scratch board thing, which is not nearly as efficient as my mouse. But what I was going to say is, if I had a producer, what you would have heard is...
Yeah, too.
But you didn't hear that because I don't have a producer. And
you know, when I was raising my children, and I didn't want them to hate people, I told them there is only one reason to hate Muslims.
Okay.
They invented algebra.
Okay. All right.
That's the only legitimate reason.
Math and me are not so bueno. I can tell you that for a fact. The continuing story on this, however, from campusreform.org, math professors and educators at leading American universities have taken to Twitter in order to debate whether math is racist. Okay, in what fucking world are you living where math is racist? Numbers is numbers, and they don't be nothing else. Some asserted that objective mathematics is rooted in, this is a quote, white supremacist patriarchy and white social constructs. The debate itself was rooted in George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984, in which citizens of a fictional totalitarian state believe that 2 + 2 = 5 as a result of government propaganda. Lori Rubel, who teaches math education at Brooklyn College, not far from you, Jeff, says the idea of math being culturally neutral is a myth. Oh, myth? My water glass is empty.
Well, that's sexist because it's also a myth, though.
Oh, good point. And that asking whether 2 + 2 = 4 reeks of white supremacist patriarchy. Quote, y'all must know that the idea that math is objective or neutral is a myth. Why do so many people have speech impediments around here? I don't get that part. It seems...
But what I don't get is that actually someone like that is teaching our children.
That's actually one of the most frightening aspects.
Okay, and I've seen it with all my children, both my children in their high school and college years. They're being taught crap, not educated. And I don't have a problem with teaching, with people having debates in college. That's what it is. Teach you how to think through things. Allegedly. Well, right? But to talk about stuff like that, where do they have time? They need to get a real job so they can think about real life stuff.
You know, the funny thing is that we have amazing luxuries and freedoms and liberties here for people to get this ridiculously stupid. I think I told you this before, but I'll tell everybody again. I was suspended once by Facebook over a month ago for 3 days because I said, this is a direct quote, Americans are fucking stupid. Boom. That's racist, according to Facebook. Then, after coming off of suspension, on the 4th day, no problem. 5th day, I was resuspended for a month for the exact same quote on the exact same day. Of course, BZ appealed, and Facebook said, "We've read your appeal with great diligence and care." Fuck you. And so there it was. Because Americans are fucking stupid. And this is
now, do you
clear
remember what happened
proof.
Before you got thrown in Facebook jail?
Do I know what happened? Yes, they were laughing like hell. On their end of Facebook, they were laughing like hell. Screw the big fat guy.
Because you kept saying again. Remember?
I could say what?
You were saying to me, "You are banned again, Jeff."
Oh yeah. Oh, I was not able to ask you. Okay, so what's the last thing that you got suspended for?
I don't even remember. It's been so many different things.
I know. They all blend together after a while.
However, okay, do you remember Forbes magazine when it was a good magazine?
Yeah. Malcolm Forbes started it. That's right. Malcolm Forbes.
Well, I remember when I used to see him with his lovers at restaurants, but that's besides the point.
Okay. Now, do I dare ask what sex they were? Can I do that?
Yeah, he was gay.
Okay.
But anyway.
I just learned something tonight. I didn't know that.
Forbes magazine ran an article, okay, encouraging people to, because you say Americans are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
They're fucking sick, because Forbes magazine wanted people to wear face masks during sex to reduce coronavirus transmission.
What?
I didn't make this up.
Why don't we just wear Nerf suits? Why doesn't the Nerf company just make Nerf suits and make it illegal for anyone to go into public unless they are wearing a full-body Nerf suit with Mask Enclosure?
BZ?
Is that coming?
I used to, when I was in advertising, one of my big accounts was Hasbro.
Oh,
they do the Nerf stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, hey, Hasbro has an opportunity to make a ton of buckage off of that. Spencer Bagley, a math professor at Westminster College in Pennsylvania, retweeted Rubel's assertion. Rachel Gutierrez, who teaches socio-political perspectives on mathematics and science education. Stop. Some fucktard makes money teaching that class to your kid. And guess what, parents of America? You're paying for that crap. Socio-political perspectives on mathematics and science education at the University of Illinois responded to a tweet from a former educator claiming that the U.S. colonizes math. What the fuck? By now, this is a quote, by now it is well known, for example, that other cultures were using the theorem we call Pythagorean, yet we still refer to it with this name. This is colonization and erasure. The tweet from the former educator read, oh no! Gutierrez.
Wait a second, isn't that theorem when you go into the bathtub rises?
Well, it's. I think the
Or is that the one where you get your dog drools?
No, the Pythagorean theorem. It does deal with bathtubs, but my understanding is it says something similar to don't be drinking a lot of alcohol. When it's really warm, you'll fall asleep and drown. I think that's the Pythagorean theorem. Oh, and Dave Milner. Welcome to Dave Milner. Just stepped into SHR Media.
Hi, Dave.
Hi, Dave. This is, folks, Jeff DUNETZ. I'm going to have to take a break. It's the bottom of the hour. When you hear the break music, this will be a perfect time to get up, go to the electric winkle chamber, relieve yourself, get an adult beverage, and come back here. I'm not kidding. Quick like a bunny. And when we come back, we'll hear more of this ridiculous osity-ishness. And I've got more stories, and Jeff is going to regale us with tales from lidblog.com. And I've got a lot of New York questions for Jeff because Jeff, sadly, lives in New York State. So I know. It's very sad. Oh, and he has COVID. I heard him coughing. Okay, so we'll be right back after this. Okay?
Media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff DUNETZ. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff DUNETZ.
For 50 years, I've seen the American people blinded by corrupt politicians, a lapdog media, and deceptive Islam. The one thing the elites fear is one man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me through Spreaker, iTunes, and SoundCloud, through SHR Media and the Western Free Radio Network, for half a century of experienced perspective on political and social issues, weekly on The Unpleasant Blind Guy. And catch me on Jeff Mitchell's EDL Radio on blogtalkradio.com. There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
This is Shannon Wright of The Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Mike's not here, so I gotta talk fast. You gotta join us. Fall season. Getting ready to start up with a whole bunch of new stuff. News and food and politics and sports and entertainment and a whole bunch of stuff. But wait, Mike's coming. I gotta go. Remember, Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media, Monday through Thursday, 7 to 9 a.m. Make sure you tune in.
Featuring right thinking from a left brain and doing the job the American maggots won't. BZ is fundamentally changing America one diaper at a time. Just when safety pin manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, where the speech is free, but the drinks are not. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night, commencing at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific, where pushback is a requisite art form in and of itself. Let your ossicles be truly liberated when you listen to the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon, only on SHR Media Network. No ferrets were harmed in the making of this ad.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian Sackheads Clint, plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty voided, Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And of course, you realize I write all my spots. That's not my voice, but hey, I should get credit for writing the damn material here for SHR Media. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside, come inside. Emerson, Lake, and Polymer. Great group. Keith Emerson committed suicide. Greg Lake died of a heart attack. And Carl Palmer, I think Carl Palmer is still around, if I'm not mistaken. We have
He's in hiding because he's worried that he's next.
right.
Kind of like the curse of King Tut.
No, it is. It is true. And one of my all-time favorite drummers passed away last year, Neil Peart from Rush. Now, say what you will of Rush, but if you have never watched Neil Peart, I saw Rush 2 times. Once early on in their career, and then once in, what was that, either 99 or 2000. And Neil Peart only got better with time. His drum kit, I'm either misattributing this to Neil Peart, or maybe, I know definitely, a drummer said this. He made money and got rich so that he could purchase more things to hit. And I would say that fits Neil Peart. Neil Peart, oh my God, what an incredible drummer. If you've never seen Rush in concert, you will never see them again, which is sad because Neil Peart passed away last year. All 6'4" of him. People didn't realize that he was that tall. Big guy.
He sat down on the job.
Yeah, that's true. He was sitting down on the job all the damn time. Also, folks, if you happen to be on Facebook, I still think it's there. There's so many things going on with Facebook. You can go to the USGOA, the U.S. Gun Owners Association, on Facebook, and they're still looking for members. They're in the process of, I believe, migrating from Facebook over to another area, the likes of which I do not know. But if you go over to the USGOA, U.S. Gun Owners Association on Facebook, they will either be there or they will tell you where you can go to migrate from Facebook. I'm still trying to decide how long I'm going to be on Facebook. Because I have a workaround for streaming on Facebook, because otherwise I wouldn't be streaming on Facebook right now. But I'm utilizing a plan B on Facebook. But I'm still trying to figure out.
Isn't that the abortion pill?
Yeah, there you go. And also to, oh my gosh, in chat, Facebook chat, there's still Leslie, Jimmy, and in SHR Media chat, Mike the Alaskan, Jeff, Dave Milner, Jack, Sergeant Booker, Leslie, Bella, and one viewer who still is not, I'm not going to unmask them, period, end of statement. So, Jeff.
Okay. While we're still on the subject of math,
okay,
can I just bring up one more math topic?
Please.
Okay. Governor Cuomo of New York can't do math because he's been saying there have been 6,600 deaths in nursing homes, and actually the number is really more closer to 11,000.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, since you wanted to go there, I'll wrap this story up because it's just too stupid for school. I said Rochelle Gutierrez, who teaches socio-political perspectives on mathematics and science education at University of Illinois, said by now it's well known, for example, other cultures were using the theorem we call Pythagorean, and we beat that into the ground. Gutierrez responded with, yes, this attends to the culture's history's dimension of RM, addressing Western Eurocentric maths. And we also want to attend to the living practice dimension. Okay, this is where I'm done with the story. Do leftists know anything other than word salad? This is again, ELP, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. This is brain salad surgery. They have word salad. None of this means anything to anyone else of any significance. This is just nuts.
Yeah.
It is nuts. Okay. I'm going to do this while you're here. I instigated a new department since the last time you were here. I'm going to do this. It'll take me about 2 minutes to do, and then we'll be right back with you. And then I'll ask you if you have any thoughts about this. So here's my newest department. And again, people, tell me if you enjoy this.
The Bloviating Zeppelins HeyJackass.com Chicago Death Toll Update. Courtesy of Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot.
And you can find out that at heyjackass.com, illustrating Chicago values. Final July totals year to date. Shot and killed 96, shot and wounded 496, total shot 592, total homicides 107. Week in progress, August 2nd to August 8th, shot and killed 3, shot and wounded 25, total shot 28, total homicides 3, year to date. Here's the best part. Shot and killed 417, shot and wounded 1,942. Total shot, 2,359. Total homicides, yay Chicago, 456. Yay Chicago, 456 homicides. What an accomplishment for you. Yep. That's Chicago Lori Lightfoot for you. Okay, that's enough. So, Jeff, Chicago homicides, no problem.
Well, I got to tell you, I haven't done shots since college, so I can't really relate to it.
Okay.
But you know that homicides in New York have doubled.
Oh, right. That doesn't have anything to do with Mayor Warren Wilhelm, does it? At all? No. See,
no, I don't think so.
You think his name is Bill de Blasio, but his name is
you're
truly
right.
Warren Wilhelm. Warren Wilhelm was born a little rich white kid. Okay. His parents had to leave federal jobs because they were commies. He left college to go to Nicaragua. He admired the Soviet-backed socialist Sandinista. He came back to America. He joined the Nicaragua Solidarity Movement, whose goal was to end capitalism and replace it with Democrat socialism. So when he married in 1994 to his beautiful bride, excuse me, furball, he honeymooned in Cuba. And he said he's very, very happy of his Marxist ways. He changed his name to Bill de Blasio in 2001. Why? Because that's when he began to get seriously into politics, and it wouldn't do to have a leftist have a Teutonic name. Warren Wilhelm, Sieg Wilhelm, Gutmann. So he changed his name to Bill de Blasio. There are a couple of New York stories, Jeff DUNETZ, that came out recently, and I'd like your input on them.
Okay.
Here's one. NRA's nonprofit status in the crosshairs of State Attorney General James amid allegations of multi-million-dollar fraud. So I just have a couple of questions. As everyone knows, BZ has an axiom called timing is everything. Do you sense that New York State Attorney General Letitia James is taking dead aim at the National Rifle Association at a fortuitous time right now? Jeff DUNETZ.
You mean just before the election?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday, the governor of New York, Governor Cuomo,
yes.
who, sometimes I'm too harsh on him because, him and his TV star brother, they share one brain. So sometimes when he does stupid things, I don't know, it might have been just when Chris has the brain for the day. But anyway.
Okay, hang on one second, Jeff. Wherever you are right now, your cell phone is kind of cutting out. If you can move to
how about now?
Oh, there you go. Muy bueno.
Okay. Well, so it could have been Chris's day to use the brain they share. Anyway.
Wait a minute. Okay. I haven't done this yet. This deserves that. Very nicely done.
Here's the problem.
Very nicely done.
There are a lot of people calling for an investigation because they want to know why all these old people died in nursing homes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he said he doesn't want an independent investigation because it would just be political. Now, when you think about it, His attorney general is suing the NRA because she wants to break it up.
Right.
And is suing to get President Trump's tax returns.
Right. Well, that's not political. Oh, Come on, that's not political. Jeez. Okay, just because the NRA happened to be probative in terms of getting Trump elected in 2016. But that's not political. Come on, folks. Use your brains. Jeez.
Well, that, and I think it's also an anti-Semitic move because I'm a member of the NRA. So
I'm the NRA.
I think that, see? I think they're doing it just to get back at me because I'm Jewish. What do you think?
That's such a bad move. That's a bad move. Now, out of the darkness and into the light tonight, we have as a first-time guest Hugh Askton. So, Hugh, can you step up to them, or at least lean forward into the mic?
Hello, sir.
A little closer.
Hello, sir.
There you go. You got to learn to work the mic.
I don't. This is all new to me.
I know it is. Anyway, Hugh, welcome to the Saloon. And you were always curious, you said, what goes on in the well, I think you said, if I'm not mistaken, the studio.
Studio. The verbal sausage factory, it is.
The studio where the brain salad, where the word salad, at least on my end, comes from. So, Hugh, this is Jeff.
Hi, Hugh.
Why, hello, Jeff. I did happen to catch your little comment about the Russian dog drooling. I thought that was quite funny, sir. So I was trying to figure out who has the worst governor, and I saw your governor in a tight shirt, and I'm thinking, I don't know. It's a dead heat at this point.
Wasn't there a photograph?
You know, earlier in the year, he was wearing a tight shirt, and everyone was making fun of him because he has nipple rings.
I didn't want to say it, sir.
I was just, as soon as you said that, tight shirt, my verbal brain, my wheelhouse right here lit up with, hey, remember the photograph of, what's his name? With, you could clearly see this douchebag's nipple rings on. Good God. Does this guy sit, in a closet somewhere and pull on his rings for pleasure for 5 minutes and then go back out and adjudicate politics? Is that what occurs in New York State? Good God, mister.
He is too busy killing grandma.
I said this at the beginning of the show. I had an entire 2-hour special report on it. I said that this is my opinion, and I'm stating that this is my opinion now. I believe that Cuomo is a murderer. He knew full well that with the most rampant, endemic, hot virus known to man in at least the past 20, 30, 40, 50 years, that to place people infected with Wuhan 19 into small buildings containing elderly people who physically are the weakest, the least able to fight a hot virus like that, and who, because I've been to nursing homes, there are some areas of various nursing homes where, and it's extremely sad, there can be 10, 12, 15, 20 individuals in a single room, bed next to bed, and he decides that it's a logical thinking man's decision to place the very hottest virus into the worst environment possible with the people least ability who have the least ability to fight a virus in a system that has the world's worst PPE, the least amount of training. Yes, they're nurses, but how would you like to take care of geriatrics 24/7, which is why it's difficult to get people to staff these facilities. Some are better than others, and I'm not denigrating them all. I'm saying that classically, these people are historically under-equipped and underpaid. Knowing full well all of that information, he still thought it would be a great idea to force, by legal mandate, active hot Wuhan 19 cases into nursing homes. Then when he's called on it, he doubles down. Now he says it's political if he's to be investigated. Fuck him. He's a murderer. Can I be any more clear than that?
Let me add something to that. While he was creating these petri dishes of old people, there was a hospital ship with 1,000 people.
Yes.
With 1,000 beds.
Yes.
And there was a field hospital built in Central Park.
Yes. I think there were more than one. Weren't there more than one, Jeff?
Yeah. But they both went unused.
Could have put them there.
They were empty. So, yeah, it was pretty bad. Now, every state with New York, when they counted the unfortunate deaths in nursing homes, if you caught it in a nursing home, doesn't matter where you died. If you caught it in a nursing home, it was counted as a nursing home death. In New York, if you caught it in a nursing home, but then was sent to the hospital and died, it wasn't counted as a nursing home. So, if it was the equivalent of other states, the 6,600 that Cuomo talks about would really be 11,000.
Okay, so the fact that you caught it in a nursing home where Governor Cuomo forced this virus into that environment, you caught it there, but you died elsewhere, obviously because you needed medical supplies, apparatus, etc., that the nursing facility couldn't offer, then that was not attributed to the nursing home. The hospital took it on the chin for that one.
Oh, wait, it gets worse. Well, not worse.
God, why not?
If they put you in a car to go into the hospital and you left the gates of the nursing home, it was considered not. You know, I used to work for Disney. You know that,
right?
And I was once, taking a tour, a cast members tour. That's what they called us.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, it was hot. I said, doesn't anybody drop dead from all this heat? And the guy said to me, you don't understand. If someone has a heart attack, take them right off the grounds before they're declared dead. So nobody dies at Disney World. And it's the same exact thing. It's the same exact thing. It doesn't matter where you caught it. Yeah, it's really all about making Cuomo look not so bad. And the thing is, here's the bad thing. Because he's blamed Trump for it.
Yes, he has.
And he's even blamed the old people who died. It's their problem. Okay? If at the beginning, after the 6 weeks he did this, he said, and someone said, what happened? He said, you know what? I thought I was making the right decision, but it wasn't. It'd be over now.
Exactly. If he would say, you know what, I was under stress, I was under pressure, there weren't that many options available to me in my own mind, and then I made a decision. Once I realized my decision was faulty, then I instigated plan B, C, or D. I'm extremely sorry for that. This was all new. I apologize to all the individuals who went through a terrible tragedy like this. You had loved ones that died in a nursing home that you were never able to visit, to see. You could not come in. You couldn't have, your loved ones couldn't see you. They couldn't be comforted by you. They died by themselves, all alone. I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Fuck it. That's despicable.
No, you know what? But it'll be over by now. If he just said, you know what? I thought I was making the right decision. I didn't want to overload the hospitals because we were afraid that they were going to get overloaded. That was the whole reason for this taking off for 6 months. And I was wrong. know what? I screwed up. I did it with the best intentions, but it was wrong.
Well, and I think a lot of people would accept, you know what, this is all brand new. We've never been through this before. Not recently, not in the past 10 years. This is a learning experience for everybody. I apologize that people had to pass away because of this. This is the worst situation to have placed people. I am cognizant of this now. This is a learning point where we know we will never do this again.
And you know what? The whole reason for the investigation is not so they could blame Cuomo. The reason is what happened, how did it screw up, and how do we make sure it doesn't happen?
The Japanese have a saying. They've said it for quite some time. This was one of BZ's earlier axioms. I became aware of this, of all places, at a Sacramento Fire Department firehouse. It was a quote that was on a plaque on the wall, and it said this: "Fix the problem, not the blame."
Right.
Fix the problem. Got a problem? Fix it. Deal with the blame later. If there's blame to be had, the primary issue is you got a problem, correct the problem. That's where the focus needs to be. Now, we got about 4 more minutes before the top of the hour, and it's going to be the magic witching hour where you are, because it's the East Coast, and it's 9:56 on the left coast, which means it's 11:56 on the far right coast, where you be in the state of New York. I want to go through one more story with you, Jeff. I don't know if this has been updated or not, but I thought, okay, Mayor Wilhelm is up to doing nothing but abjectly destroy New York City. And quite frankly, I couldn't give a shit less. Never been there, don't care for it. I have no investment in New York whatsoever. If it rolls into decline, I don't care.
Too late, it has.
Yeah, well, yeah, it has. It's back to the 1970s under Dinkins, I'm sure. But here's a story where it says New York sheriff to set up quarantine checkpoints at crossings into the city of New York. Now, that was then, let's see, when was that published? That was...
it's a couple days.
Over the weekend.
Yeah, about 3 days ago, maybe on the weekend or something like that.
Yeah.
So number one, okay, what that tells me is if I'm a visitor to New York City, number one, why the hell would you visit New York City on vacation during Wuhan 19? Number two, that essentially guarantees that you're not going to get any visitors, which means that you're not going to get any revenue. So if you've got people that are going into New York City, the biggest question that I had is, what about the people that live, I don't know, in New Jersey that have to go into New York every day and come up to some kind of a roadblock or a checkpoint? And I have heard nothing more about this since. So, in terms of New York City checkpoints, Jeff DUNETZ, has this throttled New York City? Did they even do this? Have you heard anything further?
No, but New York's empty. Okay, no one's going there. No one's working there. So it's empty. And the thing is that, people generally, when they commute, I mean, I drove in, but most people take a train, take a bus, or whatever. So when you're on the commuter lines, they don't bother you.
Okay.
Okay. But, this is the same guy who, when President Trump said, you know what, I'm not going to let anyone in the country from any country that doesn't do a good job figuring out what someone is before they give them a passport. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You don't vet your people, you can't come. But he's not letting people move from Long Island to New York. Okay.
Well, and see, that's my question. Obviously, I don't really know much about what's going on in New York City right now. So,
well,
did he even really start this? I don't know.
Yes, I mean, I even had a picture of one of them. But the thing is, I mean, BZ, I commuted on a train for like 25 years. I commuted by car for another 5 years. When I was publishing Nickelodeon, I drove in every day.
God,
I still remember when I drove in the morning of 9/11 thinking, what a beautiful day it is today. What a clear sky.
You're such a better man than me.
No, but it wasn't on the way home. But people commute. I mean, and when you get off the train, I'm sure the people, if there are checkpoints there, people know who the commuters are. People end up, when you commute, you take the same train, you sit in the same seat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
you
and
see
they know
the
you.
same people, right? Because they know you're on a schedule, they're on a schedule, you know them, you probably talk to them, all that kind of stuff.
You know, when I drove in after 9/11, there was National Guard at every crossing. And actually, in that case, it made me feel safe.
Maybe de Blasio just wants his own Iron Curtain. You know.
You know what? Maybe he's trying to get somebody to replace the money. You know, he gave his wife a project, and she lost almost $1 million.
Oh, no. It was $1 billion.
Oh, you mean it was $800 million she lost?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You know, in these days of liberalism, that's not a lot of money.
No. A couple of billion here, a couple of billion there. Pretty soon you're talking real money.
That's right. Okay, so maybe he wants, check cars to find that. But you understand something. That's leftist. Leftist says that you work for the government. The government doesn't work for you. That the government tells you when you can go to the bathroom and when you can flush.
Well, and how many gallons you can flush, how
Right.
long the flush can be, where the water comes from.
They screwed up light bulbs. Okay?
It's true.
They
It is
screwed
true.
up light bulbs.
Leftists
And toilets don't flush the way they used to.
Leftists
okay?
and Democrats infect and destroy everything they touch. Period. End of
So
statement.
if you want to read in the toilet, you can't because the lights suck, and you can't flush.
Then they'll go out on you, too.
Okay.
They're on a timer.
Yeah.
So with a whole section of the newspaper, you know what I'm saying?
And with that, I think that's the perfect way to go out. You can't read in the toilet, and the toilets don't flush. Thank you very much, leftists. That was Jeff
Right.
DUNETZ.
And you know what? Can I just say one last thing?
Please.
If you don't vote for Trump, you're going to have that nationally.
God.
You're going to have Wilhelm nationally.
Yes. Well, you're
That's what they
not far from that right now. That was Jeff DUNETZ, lidblog.com, lidblog.com. Thank you for being here. We will obviously have you back again. After the break, I'll go into some different stories. We'll talk to Hugh, probably have some phone calls, etc. So don't go away. Again, your favorite adult beverage, every once in a while it's got to be drained, and that's why, that's exactly why I do this.
Conservative media done right.
Water.
You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Southern Sense is conservative talk with Annie, the radio chick you bellows as host, and C.S. Bennett, co-host. Informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey. Annie is a top conservative host on Top Talk Radio and features some of the finest guests
I pulled
packed
up
with
the
important
speed round for you if
politicians
you ran
and
out. It's
newsmakers.
going to be like,
Listen
okay, I
every
was just going
Friday,
to go through
3
my...
to 6
And here we
p.m.
go.
Eastern,
Yeah.
and
Capture.
3
Yeah.
Pacific on the
The memes,
SHR
go!
Media
Yes,
Network.
the postal workers
Remember,
have endorsed Joe Biden.
Southern
You still
Sense
have a million
is
in your belly.
common
Go,
sense.
go. Tell me, busy. Does that seem like a solid plan?
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York.
Yes.
The Lid himself, Jeff DUNETZ. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff DUNETZ.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
Good evening. Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is featured on the SHR Media Network every Tuesday and Thursday night for 2 hours at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 p.m. Pacific. Whilst manufacturers are running out of metal for the diapers of the leftists, BZ continues to radically change the world of leftists, one diaper at a time. Stop balancing your checkbooks. Stop cleaning your fish tanks. The bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show is your magnet for truth, justice, obesity, a darkened studio, and late-night freedom. No United States of America freedoms were abridged in the making of this ad.
This is Shannon Wright.
And this is Michael Wright.
Reminding you to listen
to The Right Way with Shannon and Mike.
Every Monday through Thursday.
7 to 9 a.m.
Right here on shrmedia.com.
Join me, Jack Alexander, for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the issues affecting the USA. I fearlessly take on the issues that everyone else is too scared to touch. The Jack Alexander Experiment podcast is available wherever good podcasts can be found, like Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcast. The Jack Alexander Experiment, because it's not a matter of left versus right, it's a matter of right versus wrong.
After 6 years covering terror and corruption, the Unpleasant Blind Guy is making a change. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker and YouTube through SHR Media and on the Western Free Radio Network as I team up with Jeff Mitchell, host of the English Defense League radio show on blogtalkradio.com. Check show pages for airtimes. It's the Unpleasant Blind Guy.
On EDL Radio.
There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Featuring the effervescent contrarian sackheads Clint plus the unrestrained bulbosity of BZ, the Sackheads Against Tyranny is a real chat show. Doubling your late-night conservative talk show pleasure with double the hosts, you can listen every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern. Please note, some contents may have settled during shipping. Member FDIC, batteries not included, warranty void in Montenegro.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we're back. We are back. He, she, it, and I are back. There is Hugh Askton over there on the mic. Yes, sir. There is BZ right here. Here are the two of us live in their studio, one each and two each, and to each his own. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I have I've got two callers. Let's see, to whom do I owe allegiance first? Let's go here. I think this is Mike, but if I'm not mistaken, or is this Mike?
This would be Mike.
Okay, and I think, do I not have Jack also here? Jack, are you there, sir? Okay, well, anyway, he's probably monitoring. He had to go to the Winkle Chamber himself, perhaps. Anyway, Mike, what's the haps?
Oh, not much. So, Heels Up Harris, huh?
The what? Huh?
Heels Up Harris is now the VP candidate, huh?
Oh, Camellia.
Oh, right. The person that attempted to belittle Joe Biden in the debate.
For being racist.
Yeah, for being a racist, yeah. And now she's his, which tells me, I don't think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this, Mike. You correct me if I'm wrong, Mike. It seems to me like Kamala Harris doesn't have any scruples. Now, I know for a fact she has a great set of knee pads, but scruples, I'm not sure. Am I wrong, Mike?
I mean, was it you, or was it Sean, or was it our friend Mr. The Nose that said that she's very, what's the term that y'all use?
Very
ambitious.
Extraordinary?
Ambitious.
She's perfected the oldest profession.
Yes.
She wants the oldest profession with the retirement.
Now, people...
But yeah, she's very ambitious, and everybody knows that Joe Biden is in cognitive decline, right?
That's put in it mildly.
You're being very kind.
Gentle.
Yes.
Gentle.
Right, in cognitive decline. So she takes the job, and then after let's just say game plan this out. After he gets, quote, elected, then he steps aside, and she becomes the president.
It's kind of what it looks like.
Jack, if you can hear me, the slider is open for you, and I could hear you lurking in the background. So, Jack Alexander, you might be a lurker right now. You say, BZ, I'm on hold, but not hearing anything. Anyway, Mike, those of us in California, always spell it with a K, know something of Kamala Harris. It's curious that her Wikipedia page has been scrubbed a month ago or more of some of the more contentious articles from her. That is to say, her prosecution of people for taking drugs. That is to say, her unwillingness to levy the death penalty when she was a San Francisco prosecutor on a cop killer. And also, as Attorney General, she decided it would be good to go after the individuals, I think it was David DeLayden, who shot the Planned Parenthood videos, the likes of which were completely truthful. These are people speaking the truth about parting out dead babies. And she decided that it was completely political to go after them as well. So, as I indicated, Kamala Harris has zero scruples and will do anything for herself to get ahead. People say that she's an African American. Okay, if Africa's located in the Bahamas, then I guess that would be true. Now, how you'd squeeze all of Africa into a little teeny island like that, I know what you'd have to do. You'd have to be Hank Johnson careful to make sure that the Bahamas didn't tip over with the weight of Africa like Guam.
Mr. Johnson.
Hank Johnson, by the way,
yes.
Folks from Georgia, if you're not cognizant, Hank Johnson is the gift that keeps on giving.
Isn't Kamala Harris's mom from India?
Yes.
Dad's Jamaican.
Yes, so Hugh, you make an excellent point.
Once in a while.
So, Kamala Harris is portraying herself as African American when in fact she's 50% Indian and 50% Bahamian. And like I indicate, I don't think the Bahamas are located in Africa, but that's okay. She knows that the American media maggots will puppet anything that she happens to say.
Sounds about right.
Mike.
She, I tell you what, I'll end my call with this. She achieved her success the old-fashioned way, on her back.
Well, there is that.
Well,
that's I would say speculative, but it's...
Ow. In chat, next time you come back, Hugh, I'm going to have to get you a chat room. I'm going to have to spool up the computer over there so you can see what's going on in the chat room. Jack Alexander in SHR chat says, and her family were slave traders.
That's awkward.
Now, I wonder...
Who wrote the
Who scrubbed the Wikipedia of Harris? Anyway, I wonder if her being in a family of slave traders was in Wikipedia, and that was one of the aspects that got scrubbed. Huh. I don't know. Hey, Jack, give me a blast back. I think you... I heard you in the background there for a little bit. And Mike, thank you for calling. I appreciate that. We still got a ton of people in SHR Media Chat, and we still have... Oh, and we got Barbara in Facebook Chat and Leslie, Facebook Chat. So thanks for everybody listening tonight. Thanks for being in the chat roomus, Roomabesius itself. So, Jack, I asked Jack to call so that... Oh, there we go. Okay. There's Jack. Jack, you there?
Yes, hello.
I wanted you to call tonight because, and doggone it, I'm going to have to see if I can pull up that video. Now, you won't be able to see this video. Once I saw this video, I sent a copy of it to Jack, and Jack, you said that this had occurred some time ago. The video that I'm going to play here that occurred in Victoria.
Is this the chokehold?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, that's this week.
Oh, it is this week. Okay, so it's relatively...
This week or late last week.
Okay. All right, and I got to find it here. First, while I'm doing this, do you have any thoughts?
Oh, you heard what Joe Biden... While you're looking for that, you know what Joe Biden's campaign motto is going to be now that Kamala Harris is the VP pick?
Okay, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm being set up, but that's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, the new motto for the Biden-Harris campaign is "I'm with whore."
I thought it was Joe Blow. Okay.
Alrighty,
delightful.
And obviously the Democrats are running on the new motto when it comes to picking candidates with "suck it and see."
It's worked so far.
Why can't I find this? Son of a biscuit eater. Okay.
It's probably been scrubbed.
I can't find it. You know, and I'm not surprised. I could have thought that I had it all set up here, ready to go, and apparently I don't. Well, Jack, while I'm still trying to find this, can you give us the background and what occurred in this video, if I can locate it, and what the video is about, what happens during the video, and then also can you tell us if there were any follow-up, is there any follow-up information, or was there any reaction to what people saw in the video? I'll let you set up the whole thing.
Okay, a woman was approached by two police officers in the Bayside suburb of St Kilda. Now, part of St Kilda is fairly upmarket and ritzy, but the majority of it is fairly low rent, I believe is the term. And the woman was approached by a male and female officer who immediately just lashed out and said, "You're under arrest for violating the state order on wearing a mask." And the male officer immediately lunged at the woman, and eventually she was in a chokehold and we're not talking about coming up from behind and putting the arm around. Both hands forward straight to the throat.
Right, it's like
sort of chokehold.
Yeah.
Now, the use of compliance holds, as they got called by Victoria Police, especially around the throat, head, and neck area, are absolutely forbidden.
Okay, now is
so the way he tried to restrain.
Now is that true? Now it's going to be true here, and it's true for a number of agencies. But is it true for the Victoria Police, that chokeholds are proscribed? No, you can't do that. Is that true?
That's true.
Okay.
Anything above, they can use compliance holds up to in line with the collarbone. So getting a thumb under the collarbone and applying pain to bring about compliance, that is allowed. Above the collarbone, absolutely forbidden.
Okay.
I saw the video. It wasn't a carotid. It was a front.
It was just a front
straight
choke.
on, grab front, push against wall.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, oh,
yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
There was no training for that whatsoever.
No.
Yeah. Now, one of the police officers in this altercation was female. There's also a standing procedure that with engagements with female suspects, it should be the female officer that makes physical contact because of rape allegations and all that sort of thing.
Really?
But here's the thing.
The
21-year-old woman that was involved with this had a state-sanctioned medical certificate that exempted her from wearing a face mask. And had the police officers bothered to ask, because according to a male companion of hers who was there on scene, they never bothered to ask for it. They just came up, slapped her against the wall and said, "You're under arrest."
Okay, I have since found the video. I am going to play this, and folks, you let me know. I'm not going to play the whole thing. There's 8 minutes of it, but probably the first minute or so, and you can hear what's going to be going on. Okay, why isn't it playing? Oh, here we go. All right, now.
Get off of me! Get off! Let go of his vest. Let go of his vest. He's fucking choking me! He's choking me! What the fuck? Let go of his vest. Get the fuck off me! Get the fuck! Him. Stop. Fuck you, bitch! Get the fuck off me! What are you doing? You just kicked me. You're fucking choking me, dude! What the fuck?
Now he tripped her, threw her on the ground,
You're fucked!
trying to flip her over. He was choking her standing up with two hands.
What have I done wrong? You just kicked me in the chest.
Yeah, but you're choking her. As a man on a girl, and you choked her.
And now he...
For what? For a mask? For not having a mask? Look how pathetic you are. She doesn't have a mask. Are you serious? Are you serious? Just for not having a mask. For no mask. Are you fucking serious? You're fucking pathetic.
Now he's choking her again.
You're fucked. Get off her. Get off her, cunt. Get off her. Get off her. Get off her.
Okay, and it continues like that for 8 minutes. As I said to Jack, and I'll say it here too, Jack has been on air to illustrate any number of times how Australia had a gun confiscation in 1996. Jack's Australia is the perfect illustration of what not to do when you're a country. Here we have to, in my opinion, because this is my show and I get to have my opinion on this, this is government tyranny when you do this for someone that doesn't have a mask. Now, if this were a murderess and you had to take her into custody, then I suppose, okay, you might be able to get away with that, even though the chokehold was not proscribed, or is proscribed. She's not wearing a mask. Australians, you are defenseless. This is exactly what leftists and Democrats want for you. They want to turn your cities, your urban rat cages, into beautiful downtown Mogadishu. Thanks for that, Hugh. Always appreciated that. They want you absolutely defenseless, and then they want to remove any Second Amendment protections that you may have had. Guaranteed, if Biden wins, job one is to go after guns. He already said, it wasn't Pete Buttigieg. Who was...
Beto O'Rourke.
Beto, that's right. Beto O'Rourke said that he would be his gun confiscation master and that Biden was going to go after all assault weapons. This is your future, America. Jack is living it in Australia right now. You are defenseless. That's the reason that Jack has said on numerous occasions he wants to get the hell out of Australia. What Jack wants to leave...
And I would happily live in California or New York at this stage. Because what's going on here at the moment makes what's happening in California and New York look like it's sensible, like California's a bastion of freedom, given what's going on here. And this is not the first woman that Victoria police have assaulted. Just last week, there was another woman who was badly beaten and bruised by police for checking her letterbox without a mask.
Well,
how
think about that. You're going to collect your mail in your front yard. And the thing and in both of these instances, and I have burnt a lot of bridges with contacts within state government circles in my exposing of this. I mean, I had an acquaintance who's now a state legislature. She will not return my phone calls anymore.
Well, okay, for one
since a lot of this has started coming up.
Okay, for one of two, or maybe both of these reasons. Number one, would it be because she believes all of this crap, and or number two, she's frightened to speak up? Which one do you think that is?
I think
or
it's
both.
a mixture of both, but it's
both.
more. It's more scared, but there is a little bit of partial support that goes along with it. Yeah, look, but here's the big thing with this. In both these instances, they were Caucasian women in low socioeconomic areas with high unemployment and low education. Now, the group of people that are spreading this are also live in similar socioeconomic areas.
Okay, now stop.
But they're all immigrants.
Okay, stop. Just 1 second. I want you to make this point, and folks, I want you to listen to this, what Jack is about to say. You got 2 minutes to say it. I'm going to take a break. We're going to keep you right back after the break. Jack, this is very important. Make your point now, please. Listen, folks.
Okay, contact tracing has shown that the majority of the infections in this current lockdown were spread by Muslim immigrants living in a couple of government-subsidized high-rise buildings. They most predominantly work for things like Uber Eats and all of these other delivery services. And they are still allowed to break quarantine and go to work, because if you say anything about stopping Muslims, you are immediately branded as Islamophobic and racist. Now, the infections are still spreading in the Melbourne area. Why? Because the very people that are spreading this, and they are knowingly spreading this, are still allowed out in community, yet the rest of us are locked up. We can't travel 3 miles from our home. Our children are home from schools. We're having to remote teach our kids. But the infection's still spreading in spite of the lockdown, because apparently it's racist to stop the people that are spreading it.
Well, you can't. You already know that. I'll just be blunt. Caucasoids are a target because they can't fight back. Me, you, Hugh, any number of personnel. But if I'm not mistaken, Australia is a continent. Australia has roughly 2.98, maybe close to 3 million square miles. And the last time I checked, Australia had 200 deaths from Wuhan 19, Jack? Or am I overstating the case?
No, that's about right. And the majority, better than 90% of those deaths were in nursing homes.
Huh. Funny how that turns out, just like New York. Oh, here we go. I have the newest stats from an entire continent. There are 331 deaths. And Australia has decided to remove all of your freedom. And Australians, you're putting up with this. We'll be right back.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
From a public locker inside a dilapidated Long Island rail station comes a show designed to piss off liberals using truth, facts, and ridicule. The Lid Radio Show, featuring the conservative voice from the People's Republic of New York, the Lid himself, Jeff DUNETZ. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com. At Lid Radio, we fight for the truth, justice, and a good kosher T-bone. If you don't listen, Hillary Clinton might sneak into your bedroom in her housecoat late at night and blame you for her election loss. It's the Lid Radio Show with Jeff DUNETZ.
Hey, are you guys listening? This is Shannon from Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM on SHR Media. I know you've been wondering where we are and what's been going on. Well, folks, that's right. We're back. So please join us 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday on SHR Media, on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and Facebook Live at 11 a.m. on Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM at Facebook. You don't want to miss a minute. We've got lots of guests, lots of segments, and lots of interesting things. And let's face it, there's nowhere for you to go, so you might as well tune in. Again, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. We're back live on the air on SHR Media, 7 to 9 a.m. Monday through Thursday, audio and Facebook Live, audio and video. Yes, we are going to do video. Facebook Live, Right Way with Shannon and Mike in the AM. Hope to see you soon.
Broadcasting behind enemy lines in occupied California, a mere 2 miles from the state capital, the bloviating Zeppelin's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show can be heard every Tuesday and Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific and 11 p.m. Eastern, only on the SHR Media Network. Go to shrmedia.com to listen. You can also watch on the SHR Media Facebook page and the SHR Media YouTube channel. No goldfish were abused in the making of this ad.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It is he that is me, bringing perspective from across the sea. Join me, Jack Alexander, 4 days a week for the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast, as I take a unique outsider's look at the news and issues affecting life and liberty here in the USA. I'll show you what the mainstream media refuses to. Politics, border security, defense, healthcare, travel, nothing is off limits. Catch the Jack Alexander Experiment podcast each Monday to Thursday on Facebook, YouTube, and everywhere good podcasts can be found. Also, check out the website, www.jackalexanderexperiment.com.
Southern Sense is conservative talk with Annie, the radio chick you bellows as host, and C.S. Bennett co-host. Informative, fun, irreverent, and politically incorrect. You never know where they'll go, but you'll love the journey. Annie is a top conservative host on Top Talk Radio and features some of the finest guests packed with important politicians and newsmakers. Listen every Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 Pacific, on the SHR Media Network. Remember, Southern sense is common sense.
After 6 years covering terror and corruption, the Unpleasant Blind Guy is making a change. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker and YouTube through SHR Media and on the Western Free Radio Network as I team up with Jeff Mitchell, host of the English Defense Elite Radio Show on blogtalkradio.com. Check show pages for airtimes. It's the Unpleasant Blind Guy.
On EDL Radio.
There's
no surrender, ever.
Because truth is not always pleasant.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
It's your business diva here, Melanie Collette. I am inviting you to a front row seat as I discuss some of the most intriguing details of wealth and finance with today's movers and shakers in the world of business. Listen in and discover financial truths on a global, domestic, and household scale. Uncover topics that will impact your wallet today and in the future. Money Talk with Melanie airs Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. East, 2 p.m. West, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Talk Radio. You can't afford to miss it.
Conservative media done right. You're listening to the SHR Media Network.
And we are back. I'm back. He's back. He, she, and it are back. They are back. And just like me, if you were to see me walking down the street, here he comes, walking down the street. I get the funniest looks from everyone I meet. Hey, I'm the Zep. And of course, if you were to see me from the rear, you would first say, hey, baby got back. Speaking of baby got back, I was contemplating this over the break. In the past 3 months or so, I have picked up more viewers and listeners than ever before. I started the show in 2017, January of 2017. And I went from 5 people to 20 people, and fully cognizant of the fact that it is a late night show. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do a late night show is because I can let my hair hang down, even though I am bald on top. And I took my little chemo stuff today, and I had shit burned off my arms and the top of my head because I've got melanoma, blah, 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 blah. I have had 2020 has been the worst year for me, but for the show, it's been the best year for me because I have discovered through other individuals who are discovering my analytics that my shows are obviously very topic driven sometimes, especially when I do an SHR Media special report. And it's funny because I can't really tell what shows are going to be particularly successful and why some are not. Oh, Leslie, don't worry about it. I've had it a whole bunch of times and I'm still here. So I don't know why I get really good ratings sometimes and some not. But since I was suspended by Facebook, my numbers have plummeted. Prior to being suspended by Facebook, I have another gentleman, and folks, you know his name, Jeremy Hansen. He has been here before. And Jeremy Hansen did my analytics and said, depending upon what you talk about, you get anywhere from 3 to 5 to 10,000 people listening to your show. And during the break, I was thinking about that. And this comes from any number of, you can find my show on podcasts everywhere. I'm on podcast on iHeart, Spotify, Podcast Wizard, Apple Podcasts. It's everywhere. But I was reflecting, folks, thank you very much for making 2020 much better for my show. I greatly appreciate it. Dave Milner says, BZ, audiences are fickle. Just go with your gut and roll with it. Well, that's what I do. All I do on this show is basically talk to me. And if people find that entertaining, God bless you. I thank you. I started doing this show. I thought, I'm going to do a show that I want to hear myself, which is, and I was for my first 3, 4, 5, 2,700 shows. I was talking to myself.
So now I can interrupt.
Wait. Okay, I'm sorry.
I can interrupt because this is crucial information. Taylor
Okay.
Swift is endorsing Joe Biden. So, and you know what her choice in men is. So that's impressive. She makes millions singing about her poor choices in men and isn't.
And so she continues.
Yes.
She continues on a wonderful streak of poor choices in men.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I talked about this before. The Postal Workers Union has endorsed Joe Biden. So,
Postal Workers Union. Jack, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Let me throw this out to you, Jack, and to Hugh. First, let me wrap this up. Folks, thank you from the bottom of my clotted heart, where I'm simply waiting. I'm dog paddling, waiting for my factory-issued heart attack. It's coming. I can hear footsteps. But thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who listens. I know it's late at night, and yet people still listen. And I have gotten people listening in the 5 digits. I can't thank you any more than that. So thanks for listening live. Thanks for being in the chat room in both areas. Thanks for listening to me later in podcast. I know that the American truckers listen to me late at night, either live or in podcast, because I've gotten when I used to give my email out on the air, and I don't do that anymore because then I was the recipient of FU and SU and you're fat and blah, blah, blah. Come on. Facts and evidence. Big deal. Listen, I've been insulted by professionals, and these fucksticks are not professional. Not in any way, shape, or form. So I'm just saying thanks. Thanks to everybody for listening. It's late at night, and your time, especially in 2020, is very valuable to you. So thanks for listening. Having said that now, postal workers, Jack, Hugh, we know that in the deep state, in the DOJ, for example, roughly 95% of the people in the DOJ voted Democrat. We know, and I would suspect that in the post office, the numbers of people who are Republicans versus Democrats, I would guess, are about the same. If you were to postulate that it was 50-50 in the post office, I would suspect you're full of crap. However, that being said, do either of you feature that ballots may be fucked with and or lost completely during this election season? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there to see what sticks. Anybody?
100%. I would say about 100% chance.
Abso-friggin-lutely.
There you go.
Would you now? How is Australia, Jack? How is Australia going to handle your elections? Now, do you have a big election coming up? Any large election coming up?
No, and that's probably why the government here is pulling all of this shit with COVID, because was it late last year they had the state election, and I don't think the next federal election's not for till the end of next year, I think.
Okay.
So, which is probably why all of this tyranny is going on with that. But as you know, I have a house in just outside of Wichita Falls. Now, U.S. Postal Service.
I thought you had one in Texas.
Can't even reliably. Sorry?
You got one in Texas, right?
Yeah. I own a house in a little town about 20 miles the Dallas side of Wichita Falls.
Oh, okay.
I mean, the U.S. Postal Service can't even get reliably get mail delivered from Texas state government and the comptroller's office to my address on time. And, that's been a problem. I've had a friend of mine send me something from Wichita Falls, which is 20 miles west. And it took 4 weeks to get there from Wichita Falls. In the end, I went up there and picked another one up, another copy up by hand. So
they sent it. They sent it by Burro Senor.
The reliability of the U.S. Postal Service is as big a joke as the healthcare system in Britain. Ooh. Went in for an ingrown toenail, came out with a vasectomy, sort of thing.
You just didn't know you needed it.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I've complained to the local postmaster. I'll go to the post office. I'll complain to the postmaster there. Look, my stuff is not getting here. It's not getting delivered.
What?
It's being delivered to another address and being sent back because, who's this Jack Alexander? This isn't my address. Return to sender.
I'd act surprised, but I'm not.
Dave Milner in chat says, even a burro can make 20 miles in 2 days, and that is with frequent rest stops. Okay, that deserves one of these. Wait, why is this not functioning?
Right there.
Okay.
Hold it on the outside.
All right, let's try this again. That deserves this. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't.
It's
even
fickle.
my fat ass could walk 20 miles in 2 days.
No kidding. Well, and Texas Dan just stepped into chat. Texas Dan, welcome. Hey, Dan, by the way, I'll try it again. Maybe next week we can try for an hour on the show. So Texas Dan, I will contact you and see if you'd like to come back on the show. It was hit and miss for a while. But Dan Butcher, by the way, Hugh, is a guy that lives in Texas. Hence,
wait a minute,
Texas Dan. I know what you're thinking.
Wait a minute.
I know what you're thinking. He is a media magnet, not MAGNET, but MAGNATE. He owns High Plains Pundit and High Plains Radio and High Plains, not High Plains Drifter.
No, that's
he
the
owns
other one.
A bunch of media outlets.
But I can't use them to put stuff on refrigerators.
No.
All right.
No.
Copy that. What I was going to point out to you that you probably remember conversations in the past.
Yes.
Is that other federal agencies do not use the Postal Service because they're not trustworthy. They use FedEx. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Wait.
Oh, yes. You remember where I used to work? And they're like, no, we don't use the Postal Service because they're unreliable. I'm like, I thought they were your brethren. So they have to use a private company, FedEx, when they need anything that they absolutely need to get somewhere at all.
Wow. Using FedEx, that's sort of... You don't say.
I do say.
They use FedEx.
Only.
Or are you sure about that? So anyway, you've made some excellent points, Jack. And I can't help but wonder.
Thank you.
Wonder why.
Are we going to get a ton of dumped ballots? See, because if I'm not mistaken, Hugh, you reside in California, always spell it with a K, with me here.
Yes, sir.
Not far from Sacramento, where we are downtown.
Just that.
We are literally.
Just that.
We are literally 2 miles. And when I say, peeps, when I say this studio is 2 miles east of the locus of evil on the entire left coast, this studio is 2 miles east of the Bill Mill at 10th and L Street, downtown, the Capitol building. So I'm not lying about that.
And with the wind, you're downwind.
Oh.
You're downwind from that.
Oh, my God.
That septic.
Oh, that pool, that cesspool.
Yes. All of that.
So, having lived in California, isn't it true, Senator, that Californians now can they have an additional 17 days to turn in a ballot? Is that not California law still, Mr. Hugh?
think that is the law.
I think it is too. So if you think, folks, that you're going to know precisely on November 4th who the president is, this is California, always spell it with a K, purposely fucking with you because they can.
I think they'll just simply continue to find ballots like they have in the past. Boxes of ballots until their candidate wins.
Yeah.
It's pretty much how it works.
Certainly.
They don't seem to find Republican ballots.
No.
Just lots of Democrat ballots.
Don't know. I can't figure that out. I don't know why that is.
So
Jack.
A lot of that's been happening in Texas too recently.
Yeah, when people say when I say people, leftists and Democrats and American media maggots, when people say there is no voter fraud out of their lying mouths, I have story after story after story, because would it shock you folks to know that I keep tabs on when I see a story about voter fraud, I tab it and put it and bookmark all of these things? Because that's how I keep this stuff. I bookmark all of these articles in order to go back and reference them in my various shows. So, Jack, do you possibly see next year that Australia will do something similar in terms of, well, first let me ask you, you guys don't have nationwide mail-in ballots, or do you?
You can apply for a postal ballot, but you need to apply for it beforehand, and your name is crossed off the roll. So there is that, but as a rule, people tend not to do that, and you actually do have to justify your reason for it.
Okay.
Which is probably another thing as well. You know, why are you requesting this? Are you traveling? If you are traveling overseas, you have to supply an itinerary or medical. You know, a lot of women that are due to give birth around that time, they get a medical certificate saying, "Look, I'm likely going to be in hospital having given birth," and so on, and they get that set out. But you can pre-vote as well. You can go and vote early.
And often?
That usually runs for about...
Sorry.
Well, they found a way to stop that from happening. They've now started using computers to hold the electoral roll, because what was happening, one of the political parties here notoriously would pack up predominantly Vietnamese immigrants. Because we have a large Vietnamese immigrant population in Australia. And they all seem to have the same surname of Nguyen.
When?
Or Nguyen as it's spelt.
Right.
Yeah. And Nguyen is sort of like Vietnamese for Smith.
Yep.
Yes, it is, yes.
To give you just how common... Yeah.
Right.
And what this particular political party was doing was busing them all in, hiring a minibus and driving them around from polling place to polling place in each of the electorates.
I see where this is going.
And they go and present, turn up, say, "Yes, my name is Nguyen," and they would just point to one on the page.
Yes, that's me.
And all of a sudden, you found out that 80% of people that had then got notices, hang on, you voted multiple times, and it was all from the Vietnamese community. And it turned out that one of the major political parties, the Labour Party, and for Hugh's knowledge, our most conservative political party is the Liberal Party. So imagine how bad the rest of them are.
Well, you drive on the other side of the road, it sounds like it's opposite world.
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
Yeah,
that would make sense.
It's oppo world.
Liberals there are that way. Okay.
Yeah. Folks, you didn't hear this. Do you remember the Iowa caucus back in, say, January, February, right around in there?
That was a Shiite show, wasn't it?
Were you aware that they only recently got through with that? Let's see. It's July, August. Here's a story. This is from Vox. Just thought I'd tell you the efficacy of the Democrats With all the votes counted, Pete Buttigieg won the Iowa caucuses, but Bernie Sanders is challenging.
Nice. Now, what math are we using? Because 2 plus 2 isn't 4
racist.
anymore.
That's right. 2 plus 2 equals...
So that's a question. How did Democrats add it up without being racist?
Oh.
See what I did there?
Yeah, I do see what you did. I have to wrap this up. We got 5 more minutes. I have 2 stories. One is a good story. The other one makes you go, what the hell? Let's start with the good story first. Gallup poll, more than 80% of black Americans want some or more police presence in their neighborhood. Okay, so that gives me, that heartens me. That's like Chief Dan George saying, my heart soars like an eagle. Because I still say, and you're new here, Hugh.
I'm new.
So I will ask you and I will ask Jack. My thought is that Trump is going to win the electoral, and Trump this time is also going to win the popular in November. Jack, do you have a thought on that?
No, I agree with you. I think he's going to walk away with it. And he will get the House of Representatives as well and an increased Senate. That's my take on it.
Okay.
Boom.
Hugh, what do you think?
Exactly what he said, and we've talked about this before. I think he's going to walk away with it, and all these scare tactics and fear-mongering are just wearing the populace out. And when I hear that 80 percentile stat, that tells me they're aware, because every stat shows that proactive policing results in lower minority deaths. Everyone.
Yeah, that's the broken windows theory that we subscribed to in my department in the 2000s.
The Milwaukee model?
Because it worked. Now, I'm going to wrap this up with this story for tonight. So I will say in advance, Hugh, thank you for being here. Jack, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Jeff DUNETZ, thank you for being here. Mike, thanks for calling in. Here's the story, and when I read this, I had 2 immediate reactions. Both were visceral. This is from Newsweek. Let's see, when did this come out? The 8th. Okay, so 3 days ago. From Newsweek, majority of Americans support closing down economy again over coronavirus spike, says poll. So, like I said, my reaction to that was very visceral, was A, I don't believe that for a moment, or B, the same thing that got me suspended with Facebook. Americans are stupid as fuck. So, any thoughts from you, Jack, on this Newsweek poll saying the majority of Americans want to shut down the economy for Wuhan 19?
I don't believe it for a second.
I don't.
Obviously, this poll was only held in the same cities that the Democrats want when it comes to the elections, like New York, Dallas, Los Angeles, and so on. This poll was obviously only taken, they only asked Democrats.
Pretty much. I was thinking they asked Bill Gates and Fauci. And what do you fellas think?
Yeah.
Well,
okay. Well, 50%.
Well, yeah, that too.
Yeah. 100% of the people that we asked said yes. That's what we should do. Hugh, any thoughts about the majority of Americans supporting closing down the economy again over Wuhan 19?
I would say no. I would say you have a handful of noisy Karens that want to close it down, that like to shout people down and basically lord over them, but otherwise I'd say no, because asking around, people are tired of being lorded over. That's what I've seen.
Okay. I have one final observation. I will make that shortly. Before I do that, Jack Alexander, thank you again for being here tonight.
Help, get me out of here.
I know.
You probably still have better light bulbs.
Yeah, that's right. You got better light bulbs still, mister. You should appreciate the light bulbs while you damn can. And Hugh Askton, Askton, thank you for... Oh, aren't you on Twitter?
I think I am busy.
Or are you on... I think you're on Facebook.
I'm on Facebook.
You're on Facebook.
Not banned.
Hugh Askton. For me, that's difficult to say. I can say the Hugh part, but Askton.
Askton?
Askton. So thank you, Hugh, for
Thank
being
you,
here.
sir. Always
tonight.
a pleasure talking to you, sir.
And you're always welcome back here in the saloon. And with that, I would have to say this.
Monsieur! I can walk!
Oh, this is my standard outro. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thanks for listening to me right here on BZ's Berserk Bobcat Saloon radio show, live and direct right here on the SHR Media Network. If you want to contact me, you can find me on Twitter at BZEP, at BZEP. And I don't give my email anymore because I'm tired of F and S words in them. Promotional consideration is by the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works, and also by the Boeing Company. If it ain't Boeing, I ain't going. And also by Pratt & Whitney Engines Thrust.
So will you please
You can trust.
hello to the folks
Also,
that I know.
this just in,
Tell them
I also thank you. I thank the Allahu Snack Bar. A little bit of Muhammad in every bite.
that is you saw
Tiaras are by My Little Pony.
was singing.
And thanks to my KC-135, my personal KC-135 Kettle One refueling team, with whom I will be consorting in less than an hour. Thanks again to you, one and all, for listening to the show, for being loyal listeners and viewers. Thanks to Jeff. Thanks to Jack. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to Hugh. I'll be here Thursday night. Carrie Baxter Donovan returns.
Everybody quiet down now and get some sleep.
Night, everybody.
Good night, Mama. Good night, Ben.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Mama. Good night, Daddy.
Good night, children. Good night, Daddy. Good night, Elizabeth.
Good night, John Boy. Good night, Jim Bob. Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, Jim Bob.
What's going on? I was asleep. What's everybody doing?
Good
night, Good night, Jim Bob.
Good night, and good luck.